Hey, welcome to the after show with the Mad Dog and Cole. I always wear black. Farrell.
You can drink brake fluid because you can stop anytime.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait.
Oh boy, I'm ready for a goodie, dude. This is going to be a great one. And I mean, how great is it starting out with those inspiring words from the incredible Mr. Evel Knievel, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, enjoying life. Everybody take a lesson. Let's take some time and enjoy life.
And fly through the air because you got to do something every day that scares yourself.
And if you are doing something to scare yourself and it goes wrong, what do you need?
We're thankful to have those first responders responding
Yes.
first, right? Hence the name.
Absolutely.
So thankful here at Mad Dog's After Show for our first responders and of course our brave men and women of the military families that sacrifice it all. They're there for us. Let us do this podcast. We literally can't do this podcast without them. So now we're going to take some time to thank them.
Yeah, absolutely. And a special shout out to those families that did give all for the KIA, the POW, the MIA. Man, thank you so much. And, while we're on that note, I ran over and hung out with the general, Mr. Butts, who is a veteran. Thank you very much
thank you for your service.
And over the last weekend, we went down to the soft opening of the new updated Roadrunner Resort in Parker. And of course, the girls had to hit a couple other bars while we were at it. But we went to the Sundance and had pizza, which was great. We were sitting out on the dock. And there was a couple of very, very elderly gentlemen and their ladies sitting there having beers. And both gentlemen were wearing military veteran hats. And so we all made a point of thanking them. And, I just felt compelled, and I'm not looking for glory or anything else, but I just felt compelled and went up and picked up a round from the bar and brought it over to their table. And I was just feeling so grateful for one gentleman was a partial amputee of his left arm, and I was just feeling so grateful. Here I was able to have fun and soberly be the driver, and the girls could party and we could go to all these cool places because they went wherever they went and did whatever they did. And man, it just really struck home.
No, I know you didn't do it for any of the clout, but thank you for doing that for those boys. But I know you talk to any of those guys, it's like they're so uncomfortable with recognition in the most respectable way. The fact it's like we're not doing it to get recognized. We did it because that was on our hearts. So thank you for acknowledging them.
Absolutely. Huge respect. Moving on to our partners and sponsors, man, we want to be sure and thank Kicker Performance Audio and Kicker Marine Audio. Find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker. Every other Tuesday night, they're recording right now at 7:30 Central live. They are not recording. They are live on Kicker Unmasked Live YouTube and Facebook. It's a great show, very informative. Check it out sometime. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, or just get all three in one. I am wearing the Boogie Bomb in a floating Mana series with a ANSI 87 OSHA approved safety lens that is polarized and mirrored blue, just as cool as can be. Check them out. Dude, you're killing my flow.
It's not untrue. Keep going. Just
check them out. BomberEyewear.com or on Instagram at BomberEyewear. Of course, our man Cole sharing all things desert racing related through the lens of a camera. Find him at the Premix Podcast. Also available to MC or announce your racing event. He's specifically looking for a slot car race, something he hasn't done yet.
slot me in, bro.
Yeah, slide into his DMs. That's the @ symbol, ThePremixPodcast on Instagram. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film. If you've caught our YouTube, which a whole bunch of you, over 70 of you have since we've started uploading fresh new episodes, that's all the work of the great Kelsey Morrell Film. She is knocking it out of the park for all your still or video needs, from TV commercials to still beauty shots. Hit her up on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. Of course, all our Instagram templates, all our cool Instagram audio takes are all done by the incredible Hey Keeks Marketing. She can handle anything from building you a website, maintaining a website, opening a shopping cart for you, all the way up to influencer campaigns for your product. Find her online, heykeeks.com, or on Instagram at heykeeksmarketing. Oh boy, we have been waiting for this one for a while. Probably the nicest person in the motorsports industry, Mr. Casey Cordeiro. What's up, buddy?
Oh, thank you, man. I don't deserve that at all, but I appreciate it. I could say the same thing about you, man. That's what it's all about. So.
Yeah, no, it's about good people. And I didn't realize that you hadn't like one-on-one met Cole. So that's cool. Now you got faces. Well, I'm sure you've talked to each other, but in the past, but yeah, it's that's super cool. We're all about breaking records or something.
That's it, man. It's funny how that happens, and we talk about it in the motorsports industry. It's a small community, but at the end of the day, it is a little bit of a big world, right? So you get the pleasure of meeting people down the road that you should have met years ago. But anyways, yep, here we are. So it is a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and for those of you who are wondering, yes, Jess Klein is Casey's wonderful wife, and she has taken little one duty so Casey could be on. We've been trying for months since we had Jess on to try and work our schedules together. And I mean, I think he's busier. Dude, I seriously think you're busier than I am.
Hey, we it's funny these days. We joke about it. We pick the projects that we are passionate about, right? And for us, it's our house and all kinds of stuff, right? At the end of the day, so we're that's it. We're on the road, but I think you're definitely on the road more than me these days. That's for sure. So
I don't know about that. We'll have to end of the year. We'll have to count them up.
yeah,
But I think I met you probably, man, I don't know. Was it Industry Ride or Doomfest? One of the two. Would have been back like 2000. If it was Doomfest, it might have been like 2010 even.
I'm trying to think of the year. I think I want to say Industry Ride, but you were God, I remember the purple. I went one of the purple cars that was maybe that probably wasn't the first time. The Muzzy's car I remember distinctly of being at the industry ride, the purple one.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, those were back in the early days, but probably before that. So, anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, but that was a good trip, that's for
I
sure. That was a
I remember, well, you were shooting something um for what was it?
yeah,
Was
sand
it
sports.
Sand
Yeah,
Sports? It was Doomfest. I think you
yeah,
were shooting with Bill Weebgo,
yeah,
um Bill Lamphere, uh
yeah.
and maybe some stuff with Crowley and Proline Wraps, Andrew from Proline.
Yeah.
So
Don't,
that would have
yeah,
been like 9 or 10.
yeah.
And I remember I was riding the brute force back then. So I was like, wow, why did these guys bring a 12-year-old kid with them to shoot? But then I've started reading
Right.
some of your stuff and seeing some of your pictures. I'm like, holy cow.
Like those are fun days, man, to reminisce on. At the end of the day, like everybody has a start, and stuff. And it's mine's no different than some. And man, yeah, I think back on that stuff and say how naive I was at the time, and just loving every second of it and stuff. And I still love every second of it. Like at the end of the day, you create this career, and I mean, I joke about it all the time. My Jess and I were just talking about it the other day of like I was kind of giving my sister a hard time about changing majors and that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I graduated. I have a freaking degree that I've never used in my life. So at the end of the day, whatever. I don't know. It is what it is. It was a great experience, but a career of passion is really hard to get away from, is what we keep going back to. And
Yeah.
it's rewarding and it's man, it makes you smile every day. And some days are, better than others, but at the end of the day, man, we're super blessed to do what we do. You guys all shoot, man. You all know that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So like a career of passion, but where did it start for you? Like I know you ride quads, you drive side by sides, you ride bikes, um, you've written just about everything out there. You write incredibly great articles, and you're super good behind the lens. So, like, where did all that start from? Like, and you're a pretty good boat driver too.
All right, man. We got to get a boat or we got to do that. But no, I mean, so I mean, if we're going to go all the way back to the beginning, I don't know if Jess told you her, beginnings as well. Yeah, I think she did mention it
Yep.
on the podcast, but that was, she got her first dirt bike the day after she was born. We were conversing about this the first time we met with Mr. John Rawl, who we know and stuff too, and he's responsible for introducing us way back in the day and stuff. But yeah,
That's crazy.
so I mean, my story started the day I was born. My dad knew I was good. I think I was born at 12 something, 1240 or something like that. Uh, and during the Indy 500 of all things. So my mom always likes to tell me that for sure, and remind me every year that that's super fun. Every time the Indy 500's on a Sunday, that's always a good reminder. But sorry, not on Sunday. My birthday is on a Sunday during the Indy 500. That's always a good
Right.
reminder. But yeah, so yeah, my dad bought a Suzuki LT80 in 1989, and I still have it today. I absolutely love that thing. And like I said, when Jess and I were first talking about this when we met, we just could not. I said, "You're never going to believe me, but this is the truth, is that I have a very similar story to yours of getting a dirt bike when we were kids, or a quad in my case, when we were kids and stuff." So
Best
man,
pickup line ever.
I guess it
It
worked.
worked.
She came out to Montana a couple weeks later, and we went on a epic road trip, with the dog and everybody. It was super cool. So, but anyways, yeah. So Dave was born at the LT80 and grew up on that. That was my dune. I grew up in Glamis. That's just my favorite thing in the world. It's really hard to get me away from the dunes. Although I love riding in all kinds of different environments these days and stuff. But the dunes is kind of home, I would say. And then, moved from LT80. I think I rode till I was 8 or 9, and then I went to the Blaster, had a Blaster, had for 4 years, Blaster to a Raptor 660 back when they first came out in 03. And then Raptor, long story short, is we got 4 quads stolen from Glamis one time. And so Raptor went away and got into the dirt bike world after that, which was super fun. That was kind of first introduction when I was, I think, 13, and then got a YFZ 450 Yamaha that I still have today, and it's sitting down in the garage right next to the LT80. And yeah, man, that's been my go-to for almost 20 years now. That's an '06, and just been doing that. So it's still all the same that it was when we first got it. So, and then yeah, career-wise, it really started after that in '07. I was at the Sand Show. I don't know if we want to get into this, but
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
okay, cool. Yeah, that's I always told people, back in those days, I was pretty shy kid, and but I was super passionate about reading magazines. Like I grew up, most of us, right? At the end of the day,
Right.
we read the Dirt Wheels, read the Motor Trends, all of them, right? At the end of the day, and that's what I'd take out to the dunes. And I really didn't want to study when I was in, grade school and high school and stuff, because I just wanted to read magazines. Like that was the thing that we were all passionate about. And so I happen to know the McFadden family, who started Sand Addiction magazine. They were childhood friends and stuff, and just just great family to grow up around and stuff. So I think it was at the '07 Sand Sports Super Show. I graduated high school, and I went up to Nick and just said, "Hey, what would it take to be a part of like a 450 shootout in the future, and stuff. Like this is what I really wanted to do, was be a part of a shootout, a quad shootout." So I didn't hear from him for well, no, yeah, I didn't hear from him for, I think it was a month or two, and then said, "Hey, well, write me a story." At the Sand Show, he said, "Hey, write me a story, as a recap of the Sand Show." So after that, didn't hear from him after I submitted it, and I literally got the magazine in the mail, and it said my name in the content section and stuff. And so that was like a total surreal moment, man, of like, hey, wow, I should really look like contact him right at the end of the day and stuff. And then it snowballed from there. They were doing a 450 shootout with Nick Grumland and one of the other riders, Carol's I think husband at that time and stuff. And so we did a 450 shootout, and then I ended up writing that story. And man, it just snowballed from there. And then kind of the magazine went to the side there. That was like 08, 09-ish, so obviously that wasn't the best times in that arena. And then got involved with Mike Summer, and man, Mike Summer with Sand Sports Magazine. He's still one of my mentors to this day, and I think the rest is history from there, man. It's been really fun.
Mike's a great guy, and very, very fond of Mike myself. So but yeah, man, I have, and you'll probably blush, and they won't see that until we get the video published down the road, but I have literally like old four-wheeler magazines that were probably some of your first articles in storage in my storage up north, because I don't throw any of those old magazines away. And at one point I was reading through them all again, instead of sitting on the toilet with your cell phone. I was actually using my brain and reading. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when Casey wrote this. Oh, I remember. It's like, man, what was he, like 12 when he wrote this or something? So there are some old ones. I think one of the first ones I read was 450 shootout.
That was God, that was such a highlight, man. I mean, Nick Grunland, if you're familiar with the ATV world, is kind of, I mean, at least in my eyes, is kind of an icon, right, in that world and stuff. And I haven't actually seen him since, on a couple of occasions, but became friends with those, kind of some of the quad guys in that era, Corey Ellis and shoot, yeah. A bunch of them, Dustin Nelson. Anyways, yeah, because they're still Yamaha people to this day. So, being my
Yep.
job and that kind of stuff, it just all plays into that. But yeah, just a cool to see those, those articles live and those guys, are still doing their thing, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and everybody's still in the industry. It's super cool.
I actually just saw Nick at the AMA Arena Cross Championships presented by Kicker at the season finale in Las Vegas. And Nick is a veteran of the after show, actually.
Yeah.
About what, 10 episodes ago or so, Cole?
Episode 48, so 30 episodes ago.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
But yeah,
awesome.
10,
Good
like
job,
10.
guys.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
rad.
we do, we take having fun seriously. And this is like our once a week to get together and hang out, as we're so far away from each other. So wow, I can't believe it was that long ago. But yeah, Nick talked,
Rocking.
I believe, about that 450 shootout even. So guy's a legend. Guy is a legend. And Corey
Yeah.
has agreed to be on the show at some
Cool.
point. We haven't got him scheduled yet. But of course he's working, BC is working with Corey now at GBC. And so when I rebuilt the Razor for a featured SEMA vehicle, Corey and BC were instant to jump in and go, yeah, we want to put tires on it. So, it just good people, all good people for sure. So sorry, that was kind of a sideways tangent, but I want to get back. Okay. So from the magazine stuff, you were doing a bunch of freelance stuff. And I believe, so what happened after the magazines kind of started to slow down? You were still doing a lot of freelance stuff.
Yeah. So so 2013, I was done with college. 2014, I was working. So shortly after graduating undergrad stuff, I had become friends with John Rawl. Back in those days, my first Kawasaki intro was 2014. And then shortly after that, after I met him, they were doing some agency change up and such at Kawasaki. And he's like, yeah, you should come in for an interview, type of thing or whatever. So dude, yeah, that was awesome. And it ended up getting that job with Kawasaki and then working with them for a year and a half, 2 years, I want to say, or so.
Awesome.
Which was, yeah, that was really cool. Just to be around that atmosphere, right? At the end of the day, getting a little taste of the corporate world, but also agency world is different. You don't necessarily have to deal with corporate, I guess the corporate, culture is the word I'm looking for,
Yeah.
and such when you
I'd
don't
call it
work
something else, but I know what you mean.
That's it. We could have a lot of good conversations with John about that stuff. He's pretty hilarious about that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, and I mean that in a good way too. But
Yeah, no.
yeah.
John is an awesome guy.
Oh.
But go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and then yeah, I think after that, I had known the Casey Highlights guys for a long time too. Worked with them on a couple projects at Kawasaki, and they had a marketing manager position open, so did that for a couple years as well. I commuted to Gardena, California. It's one of their offices up there. I was I don't know, man. Yeah, the commute was gnarly and just all of that stuff. I think yeah, I wasn't quite ready for that position at KC. Like it needed somebody that was just more experienced with it and all kinds of stuff. So did that for a couple years. Absolutely loved it. Traveled a bunch. We came out with a bunch of products that they still have, Flex Lights and Pro 6 and all kinds of stuff, right? So that was really cool to see that team effort that they put together. And then from there, we moved out to Havasu because we were trying to kind of put together some magazine stuff. And so that was a cool time in my life, of like actually diving. At that time, I had decided to do this full time, and try to get back into the editorial world full time. So I needed to be out in the desert, right, to be closer to all of it, because I was commuting was not easy from Southern California out to the desert, and all of that. So
Right.
yeah, moved out here and started that adventure. As far as editing full time and doing magazine editorial work full time, that was awesome for a couple years. I really appreciate all of the I guess just experiences and all of that came with it. And then did my own deal again after editing for the magazine full time and stuff. And that was 3 or 4 years of just absolutely go, go, go. But that was really fun to get back into more of contributing for a wide range of people. I didn't establish my own outlet, but I really enjoyed doing the ATV.com stuff. Yeah, I can't even remember. UTV guy wrote for John and just everybody. It was really cool to just take the support and broaden it, right? And write for all these different outlets in the industry. And that was like 2017, 2018 to 2020, essentially.
Yeah. And way back when we met, I think we became friends really quickly. And, as you've moved through levels of these positions, and before I say that, we want to, if anybody from KC is listening, Cole's looking for a KC sponsorship. He is a huge KC fan. Didn't you just put some on your truck?
I did. I just put a new Flex Era chase light on the back of my truck.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
probably spent more on KC lights than the rest of the truck, to be honest.
so there's that.
They're not cheap anymore, that's for sure.
No, not at all. But apparently you guys share taste. So, but then, you were involved with the magazine, the editorial, and the relaunch, if you will, of Sand Sports online. And I know that was a huge learning curve for all involved. But on that note, I wanted to tell you, thank you personally so much, because you were responsible for my first actually printed article.
I remember that very well.
Yeah.
That's rad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
First it was Campfire Chat,
Yep. Yeah.
which I was just
Yeah.
crazy, that wow, this is really cool. And then when I had the opportunity, and Cole and I think I've talked about this, but when I had the opportunity at a Razor Forums ride to be one of the first people to run test drive an RS1 with a couple of the Polaris Watt team guys, under the guys that we were going on a group ride, and they're like, just hang at the back, we'll go last. And I'm sure you've been to Glamis North, and the great Frank Keene ran the group out to the back caves, and the Watt guys, Steve was basically like, yeah, just follow me, and it's the only one we have, so don't break anything, and just follow me, and we'll go a little different route. But as soon as we got out there and the group cleared one to the left, they were both driving. He was driving a Razor Turbo Dynamics.
Yep.
And he punched it. And I was like, there's none of this. This is the backstory to the article that we put together. There's none of this in there, but he was for sure going to leave the Mad Dog behind. And I was for sure going to rear end him if I could.
Yeah,
Um,
not going to be left behind. That's for
no,
sure.
I ate so much dust, and we were driving in the sunset at one point, and I had a clear visor. Uh, I didn't have my bomber eyewears uh, with me. They were in my pocket, and I couldn't let go of the steering wheel long enough to. But yeah, so but nonetheless, that was 100% legitimate. For me, a huge deal to have that article in print. Um, and for those of you that want to see Casey's handiwork in editing and and the fine work he made of my goober through it, um, you can find it on our webpage, MAddOG'SGarage.com. There's a link on there for the article. So anyway, okay, that was just I really wanted because that meant so very much to me. Um, I mean, we're friends, but business is business, and you still bought into me being able to put an article together, and I will forever be grateful about that. Let me tell you.
Cool, man. I really appreciate that. It's and I appreciate you putting it together, still to this day, right? It's just that time period was so enlightening just because of being able to engage with friends and family and get them involved, and stuff. What a cool opportunity. I'll always cherish that for sure. And it's the articles like that, right? That made the magazine what it was, at the end of the day and stuff. And yeah, I'll always be proud of that. There's no doubt about it. So
Yeah, for
that's really
sure.
cool. Yeah,
it
appreciate you,
was
man, for doing
it was
that. Yeah.
super cool to me, and
Yeah.
so we're moving. You've been working with UTV Guide and UTV Sports, was it UTV?
Yeah, so UTV Sports was the magazine for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the main mag and stuff. So yeah, did that for a couple years. And then when I went freelance on my own after that, that was kind of another neat tipping point for me just to prove to myself that I could not only do it on my own but really do a lot of it, and stuff. We Jess and I joke about after that got going, after a couple years and just looking in the garage and the projects that we had and all kinds of stuff, man, we just kept pinching ourselves of like, this is really cool, at the end of the day. So I think with that, man, yeah, I think I accomplished a lot of the goals that I had set out to, really not knowing that I wanted to accomplish those goals back in the day, but just, looking back on it, yeah, there's just so many in the articles. I don't know, they still come up. It's really funny, like the Dirt Wheels magazine stuff and the ATV.com stuff. Like I'll look up on ATV.com just because I still track that stuff and everything. But they're still using the photos that I took back in the day and for different articles and that kind of stuff. And
That's so rad.
anyways, just different stuff, at the end of the day. It's just cool. It's cool to have that history and think back on it for sure. So and we wrote a lot of articles, so that was
Yeah,
fun, to do.
a lot. Like seemed like you were in every magazine, every online pub. I mean, it was great, and man, it's so good to see. And I think you were kind of like on the I know you were doing quite a bit of stuff still for a couple of three brands. Um, and we were talking about trying to put a trip together um, when I lived up in Oregon to ride from your house in Havasu. Um, and
Yeah.
Cole, so I pitched this idea to him like, if we can get a manufacturer on board, we can kind of do a doc series, kind of like Charlie Borman did, of the two of us, riding side by sides out of Casey's driveway into my driveway in Bend, Oregon.
Oh, that'd have been fantastic.
Right.
Yeah. So then Casey hit me up one day and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about?" And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems is this in my mind, this is how it went. what do you think about the Yamaha's releasing this new Tenere 700? What do you think about doing it on two wheels? And I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know if I could do that. And I remember something, I tell the story, and this might not be 100% accurate, but I remember something like the effect of Casey going, oh, so you can't ride like 100 miles a day on a adventure bike
Get him.
anymore? And I'm like, well, yeah, I can.
That was motivation right there. That was
Yeah,
motivation.
I was like,
Uh-huh.
of course I can.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we actually had started to kind of put some plans together. And I think in coordination with the release of the Tenere 700 coming up, and then 2020 hit, and everything, we're all standing there going, oh, what do we do now? So but leading into that, from that, Casey was in Havasu. He'd been bugging me forever to come down and visit him. Him and Jess. And Karina and Jess had got along. That we actually met Jess while you were doing the cross country ride with Hubert.
Yeah.
And documenting, Hubert's Great Adventure or something like that.
Yeah. Up in we at Invasion, right? I want to
Yep,
say.
at Invasion. That's where
Yeah.
we met Jess. Was at UTV Invasion.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he'd been bugging me, and 2020 happened, and he was like, I got to finish up some stuff for Polaris, and you guys should come down and we'll ride some, and we'll take the boat out some, and Oregon was a nightmare to be in any of 2020 after March, basically. And so we loaded up and came down and spent a week, stayed with Casey and Jess, and rode the what was then brand new Pro XP4, which and got to see a lot of the sights. And the Viking fell in love with Havasu, and 3 months later, we live here. So I blame Casey and Jess 100%.
I still can't believe you guys did that, man, and moved down. I so distinctly remember talking to you. I mean, it probably wasn't once a week. It felt like once every couple of weeks, right? Of like, hey, what's your progress? And stuff. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure Jess might have said this too, but we believed you that you guys are moving down because you were seriously motivated at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But holy smokes, we did not think that it was going to happen 3 months later, and you're like, yep, house is sold. We're out.
Motivated.
And I remember, like, I'm painting windows today. I'm cleaning up this room today. I'm putting it, whatever. I'm going, or not painting windows, but the trim around the windows and all that stuff. Or I'm painting the eaves today, and stuff. And I'm like, holy smokes. That was and then oh man.
I was motivated to get out. I was working at one point, I think I worked 14 days straight, like 12 to 14 hours a day. And then I cut back to 6 days a week, working 12, 14 hours a day, yard, house, all that, just to get up, just to get down here, and man, it's such a beautiful country and such beautiful opportunities down here. So, but anyways, that was another tangent. Sorry, Cole.
No, it's good stuff. I'm just having these flashbacks because I don't know how much I should say, but I remember you going down there with the Cordeiros, and I remember you saying, well, Viking likes it a lot down here, and I'll leave it at that. So, well, that means it's a done deal. So,
yeah.
I wasn't sold off the get-go, and it all worked out, so, and
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say for you, especially when I think about you guys, right? And you travel a ton, you're always on the road and stuff. And Havasu is a great community, but it is a challenge to some extent, right? At the end of the day, because you are 2.5 hours away from the airport, the closest major airport. It's logistically challenging in ways, and such. And it's its own little, we call it like its own little entity, right? There's only one way out on the north and one way, on the south, right?
Yeah.
That's it, unless
Yeah.
you're going through the desert. It's a pretty remote place, to some extent. So again, it's just a commitment at the end of the day, but it's a really good commitment. And like you experienced in, 2020 was such a crazy time. But Jess and I remember distinctly, like we worked, at that time, like work didn't really stop for us, or at least not that we remember at that point, but we were able to go on the boat, and like it really didn't seem crazy, at that time too.
Right.
So we were able to kind of get out of it, which was really nice. So it's unique for sure.
Yeah, and that's all of Havasu was pretty much out of the blip. They're had their own intelligent bubble they were living in, and that's one of the reasons that I'm here is like because of that. So, but all right. So I digress again. I want to talk about how cool you and your dad's boat is, but I want to get yeah, it's just sick. But I want to get so let me see. 2020, you were wrapping up doing the independent stuff,
Yeah.
and you ended up now with. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so I think I want to say it was at the end of 2019. I was sitting in a hunting blind in the middle of, or basically on the Texas-Mexico border, with my now boss, the owner of our agency, and we were just talking right at the end of the day. Because what else are you doing when you're waiting for the pigs to run by and you've shot, you've already got your whitetail in the bag, and stuff. And so, anyways, that was a really fun trip. But we were talking about future, and because Van is an amazing guy, but he's definitely one of those that's always wants to ask you questions and stuff, and I love that about him, right? Because he's genuinely interested in people and what they're doing and all that stuff. So of course we got to talking, and after the trip we kept talking, and I think it was May 1st of 2020 was my first day. At Spec PR. So Spec PR is Van Holmes has been in this world for a long time. He was the PR lead for RV product, which is side by side and ATV product at Yamaha for quite some time. Grew up with was there with the current group that's there as well as still there and such. And so yeah, we had some great conversations, and then ended up starting with him at his agency. I think it was man, I want to say it was just two employees, him and stuff, and so it was super small, which a great team, at that time,
Yeah.
and stuff, and still is to this day. But yeah, back in those kind of humble days, and then our biggest client, basically at that time, and sort of still is too, even though we've got a diverse group of clients too. But yeah, it was Yamaha, and it's one of the reasons that I wanted to come in with him, was because it still satisfied that itch, instead of going on all the events. It's more like helping with the planning and execution and the background stuff, and it's not all glorious stuff and everything. But when you're at the events, it's really fun, to have that background knowledge and that planning that goes into it and stuff, and just being organized. I don't know, all the stuff that goes into running something like that, and just on a bigger scale too. That's been yeah, really fun with me. So to this day, it's what I focus on at our agency, is all the Yamaha stuff. We do motorcycle, both on-road and off-road, PR events, and marketing activities. We do the e-bikes. Yamaha has a e-bicycle group. And then we also have the RV group, which is ATV and side-by-side. And then last year was a big push for us to get into the experiential marketing side with them. And that's been just a blast. Every group is really fun to do different events with, and PR activations and stuff. But the experiential marketing for me is just super fun. We put on races. We do all kinds of Blue Crew stuff, for Yamaha riders at the end of the day. And that's I think, like I said, it's a little community. I mean, we talk about the race community. We talk about, different brands that have their followings and stuff. Honda's got it, KTM's got it, everybody, Cowie, and stuff. And Yamaha's got their Blue Crew, and it's super fun to just engage with people that are really, like, they literally bleed blue, stuff, which is cool. So
Yeah, I know you've put on some incredible rides. I've heard from people that have been on them, and you've done some crazy stuff too. Like you did a Arizona Peace Trail ride.
yeah, so it stemmed from, so in 2020 in January we did the full Peace Trail with media cars. Back in those days, took 4 cars, had 4 friends come out that just absolutely, I mean, they made the trip happen and stuff for us. My buddy Casey, who I've been best friends with for a long time, and then Glenn Jr., who I didn't know well at the time. Now I know really well. He's also one of our best friends. And then Bob and Andy. Andy was 89 years old at the time. Bob was 72, I think, at the time. And man, we just asked them, "Are you good camping?" And they totally were. And man, what troopers, the whole time and stuff. So we did the 710 miles, 7 days, did the whole deal. And then I think that a lot of the rides that I had done, which maybe was kind of a unique I don't know, just background bringing into the Yamaha fold, and stuff, was actually doing those rides and then saying, "Hey, we can do this just in a different way." There's certain parameters, of course, when you're putting on corporate events and stuff. But working within those parameters was something that I don't think they had done too much of, at least in the past. And so we had a blast, man. We put down, we did 2 Peace Trail deals. We did a Ghost Town ride with Villapoto and TJ Dillashaw, the Dirt Tracks guys. That one's on YouTube on the Dirt Tracks channels and stuff. They had a blast filming and everything. And so many, like the picture. I know not everybody can see it, but the picture in the background, that's up in Gateway, Colorado. We've done that ride a couple times, and we've done, 18. It started out as side-by-side rides, and promoting that lineup. And then I mean, the T7, I think, if you're a motorcycle fan, you've probably seen the T7 at this point. And man, it's crazy how that bike has just taken off. So we're doing it again this year.
I have yet to ride one, but I've seen a few of them now, and I've, for someone who's, I mean, Cole will verify, I'm not necessarily a Blue Crew person. I have said in the past that is one I would ride. I'm tend to be more of a Team Green guy, but I've had a lot of background through them. So that's, there's 2 sides to every coin, and they both spin the same way, So
We should do a podcast on your brute force one of these days. I don't think you've done one yet.
No.
That sucker was amazing. But and Team, I mean, that's not the only one, obviously, and stuff. But we need to rectify that issue of you not riding a T7. I think I can make that happen one of these days. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's
one of these days I got to get out and get a ride on for sure. It's been a while. So, and man, it's like, so now, like, really, you and your wife are like the PR power couple of the entire off-road, on-road industry right now. Like, you guys are slaying it, dude.
Well, thank you, man. That's I don't know if we live up to that, that's for sure. But we do our best, man. She has grown her business into something that I don't think she dreamed that she would, ever do. And man, it just keeps going. It's really crazy. And she has some amazing clients in this industry, outside of the industry, all kinds of stuff that she's worked really hard for and just grown into. It shows that doing good business and being, good behind the scenes, right, gets you far, obviously, and stuff and stuff. So that's been such a pleasure to watch from my side. And then, I mean, PR wise, shoot, man, she she still does. It's funny. She still dabbles in the PR world and the snowmobile stuff and everything. But
And she
yeah,
still rides.
still rides. Yeah.
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 We just did a
That's
really fun time on the backside of Wallapai Mountains out here and stuff a couple weeks ago, taking her parents out. Yeah, she was getting out one of the rockiest trails I know, man, out there, and she was getting after it. It was really fun to watch
that's
her.
awesome.
So,
Yeah, you guys are just, I mean, awesome people. I love you guys to death. And the one thing that we haven't touched on, which is coming now, I know you've been waiting for it because it's on your t-shirt, is so you've heard him explain how busy he has been, and because he cared and has a passion, um, you became a board member of the ASA, what, 4 years ago, roughly? Three,
I
four,
think it's
five?
20, I think it was actually 2018, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. So
It's been a while. I
time
had to look at that.
flies.
Yeah, it's okay. I had to look at that the other day, and stuff because we were, anyways, yeah, we were doing some internal, things for the ASA. But yeah, it's been an adventure.
Yeah. So you've been one of the guiding hands up until recently of the American Sand Association. That's what the ASA stands for those of you who don't know. Uh, they fight legal battles to keep not necessarily just our dunes open. I mean, that's the primary. But riding, I mean, if the dunes stay open, the riding stays open. Uh, as far as I'm concerned, it seems like they follow each other, you know. And I know you've been pushing that and been a major advocate. And then what is it, last year?
Yeah.
You're now the president of the American Sand Association because why? Because you just weren't busy enough.
It's good, man. Yeah, it's so crazy to say, to be honest. Things just kind of fell into place. It's not, oh man, you sometimes you don't ask for stuff to happen, right? At the end of the day. But it's pretty cool, how life takes you in those ebbs and flows and directs you where you need to go sometimes, right? At the end of the day and stuff. So yeah, ASA, that was a big change, and stuff. With Brian had been an amazing president for a long time. Followed up with Bob Mason. Bob Mason's still here, and such, as an advisor for the ASA and everything. And yeah, I mean, basically, I'm saying it's got big shoes to fill. We had a lot of background stuff that we accomplished in the first year or so, and that's kind of what we've been working on. But to your point about the fight and stuff, I think a lot of people see the ASA, and we're known for the Imperial Sand Dunes, Glamis, and stuff, and getting the 40,000 acres back, which that just doesn't happen at the end of the day. I mean, with those
Right.
closures going into place in 2000, 2001 timeframe, and then 2014 getting that back, it's still just a crazy, crazy thing, right? That it happened. But we used good science, we used an incredible team. And we still have a lot of the board members that might not have been board members at that time, but we have those guys on our board to this day. The Bob Hams, he made the green sticker program for California. Like, they are the ones that wrote the law, and stuff, and he's on our board. We got Jim Bramham, same thing. He was involved in all of that, and still, and Carrie and Pat McCardle with Polaris, and Sylvia, obviously she lives in Palm Desert area, and it's just an amazing addition to what we do. But point being is, it takes a team to put these together, and such, as Jim is texting me right now. But yeah, it's cool to see, the camaraderie that we have, but also that the fight, is still ongoing. We just met with the BLM last week, about a couple of different initiatives that we're trying to get passed in that area, at Glamis still, and trying to get closures rerouted a little bit, and stuff, so we can get a pass through to Patton Valley and like different things. That's not the only thing, but we're still actively involved in that area. We've got great partners at Ecologic, with AMA, SEMA, and Cal 4 Wheel and District. AMA District 37. A lot of different guys that's in Orba, sorry, as well. But they're partnered with us in Ecologic, which is our law firm, and getting, just getting stuff going with Oceano. We're super involved with that. We're super involved with Moab now. We've got a press release coming out on that. And like, anyways, I'm not trying to bore everybody with it, but yeah, at the end of the day, point being is the land use and access is so important for everyone, and just basically all around the Western United States too. So
Yeah, and we say this often, not every episode, but often when we're talking about, the dunes anywhere, support the ASA, um, become a member. And I have said it multiple times, and I don't really care what people think because it's my podcast, but it's $25, for an annual membership. Stop being a cheapskate and put $25 towards a good cause. I don't care if you even ride the dunes. The rest of us want to. And if you want us to be happy, spend your $25. You get a cool sticker. And I think, isn't it Rocky Mountain ATV?
yep, get a credit.
That supports the ASA and will send you a $25 gift card.
Yeah.
So it's people.
No brainer.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. It is awesome. That we have a lot of great support, and frankly, that, like you said, I mean, the $25 goes directly to the fund, right? And that goes for a lot of different organizations, and stuff. There's Blue Ribbon says this all the time, but if you are passionate about a local riding area and stuff, odds are there's a local entity, right, that's trying to protect your right to ride in that spot. And if you have time to get involved and stuff, you'd be amazed at what an hour a month can do to help support these organizations, and stuff, and just volunteer, however, whatever it works. And it's also great to get kids involved. Like, I mean, we've got Maddie out at the cleanups and stuff, our daughter, and like just fun stuff. Like she loves it, at the end of the day. And I hope like we can all kind of pass that on to the next generation too, right? And stuff. So
Absolutely. And stop being cheap. Go sign up for your ASA annual membership and hit the website. What's the website, Casey?
asasand.org or americansанdassociation.org.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All you cheapskates, sign up. And it is a 501c3, right?
It's actually 501c4 for
C4.
lobbying
Okay,
efforts and
sorry.
stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah.
We've entertained the idea of a C3 as well, but anyways, longer story with that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, no, I wanted to be sure and mention that because what you guys are doing, and we had Disco Dave on, and we covered a lot of the ASA when we had him on also, and you guys are, I mean, we're all passionate about it, but you guys are passionate and activating, and
well,
I maybe am not capable of activating on the legal front side. So, I buy the membership happily every year,
well, it goes a long ways, man. And thank you. Yeah, for that. So I think that's the cool part is like at the end of the day, there's opportunity everywhere, and stuff. And you were talking about, I mean, Dave has done an incredible job at getting us more active, and stuff in people's eyes, and everything, and just up front at shows and all kinds of stuff in the background. So that's been really cool to see for the ASA too. It's getting that name kind of more out there, and stuff, so people know that we're there fighting. Like at the end of the day, the $25 goes a long ways. Like I keep saying, I know. But yeah,
for sure. And I know we're pushing on time for you. I don't want to tear up your whole night. We've basically torn up a majority of it, but I do want to cover, not every adventure that Casey plans is like all unicorns and rainbows. Because I remember what was about a year and a half ago or so getting a message from his wonderful wife asking if I would be able to go to, it was Utah, right?
That's awesome. This is not a subject I was even envisioned to bring up. That is fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Utah. Yep. I was actually on that bike that you see in the background right there. Yeah.
because she hadn't been able to get a hold of Casey. She knew where he was supposed to be. Last
Yeah.
she'd heard, he was stuck in the mud or something on the bike. And so fill us in, because I was like, you know, let me know. Whatever you need, just let me know. I mean, we
Oh
like,
man.
if he's in trouble, we got to go. Let me know. I'm in. And so as it turned out, Ed, go ahead. You got to
Well,
share this one, because it's definitely one of the least glorious parts of any adventure story I've ever heard.
oh man, it's one of those where like I'm a planner, right? So like I always take the tools, I always take the stuff, and like I sent her the route so she had it, and she knew where kind of I was, right, at the end of the day, so she could find me. Because this is before I had. Now I now have a sat phone since then, or like a satellite device, right, that I can
Yeah.
use on the trail. Should have had it there, didn't. Anyways, so long story short, I was riding the T7. I rode it from Havasu up to St. George. And we got this really cool. We've done, I think, 3 rides down there from St. George to Bar Tent Ranch. I was pre-running for a woman's ride that we were gonna do at that time. That was, yeah, gonna be an awesome time, but we were up against the time frame, so I needed to get up there to pre-run the route and see what it was all about. Well, it just so happened that when I got there, a storm was rolling in, and stuff. And I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the radar, I'm looking at the forecast, because I like, weather is my thing, right? I love it, or whatever and stuff. So I don't necessarily try to get in predicaments, but anyways, it is what it is. So I go down to Bar 10, make it down there, flying down there on the T7. If anybody's ever been down there to Whitmore Point and stuff, that road's pretty smooth, so you can go fast on a T7. So I get down there in 2 hours, no big deal. Go to the point, come back up to Bar 10 Ranch, and have dinner, no big deal. Staying in the wagon at night, super cool experience if you ever get to do that, staying in the wagon. And wake up, and there's like an inch of snow on the ground. I'm riding the T7. There's a bunch of side-by-sides out there. I'm going like, they're like, no problem, it's all mud. Well, if anybody has ridden in Utah and after a rain, you would know that the bentonite clay is pretty ridiculous in some spots. And if you get into a situation like that, if you're riding through bentonite clay, it's pretty much impossible on a dirt bike, because it just packs in the tires and stuff. And anyways, I had the street tire, the Pirelli, the stock tires on there. That was another bad decision. Anyways, whatever. It is what it is. So I was like, well, I got to go for it, because I had a pre-run that I had to do down in Phoenix the day after that. Anyways, our lead testing guy from Yamaha was flying out for. So I'm like, I had the trailer ready to go with side by sides. Like, I had to be back. Anyway, so I make it 10 miles outside, and like probably 2 miles in that clay. And like, I'm pushing it. It was bad. And the fenders are getting packed. Like, again, if you've ridden in bentonite clay, like, it is impossible to get it. Like, you can clear it, but then it just packs right back up. And then the side-by-sides went through and tore it all up. So it was like the clumpy clay and stuff. And then it was just packing in worse because, whatever. So I've got pictures. I don't even know if I sent you those. But anyways, so ended up ditching the bike. Like, I picked the bike up, I don't even know how many times. Didn't matter at that point. I mean, I had all the tools on it and stuff. And I'm like, there's no way I'm riding this thing. And I had planned it out to where I had like a stopping point within that 10 miles of saying, this is how far I'm willing to hike back to Bar 10, because I knew they had a sat phone. Anyways, yeah, smart me hiked back, in my boots back there and stuff, and that was fun. And got on the sat phone, and by that time she had already talked to you, and she was like ready to head up there and stuff. And then I call, and she goes, well, I'm basically in the truck. Like, the truck was running. She was coming up there and stuff. And I said, well, let's, it's all good. Like, let me, come on up. I'll meet you up there or something like that. I think I was able to get a ride because Bar 10 does I don't know how they do this, but anyways, the owner of Bar 10 is amazing dude, and he drives a 15-passenger Ford van back and forth, no matter if it's clay, it like rained, anything, snow, whatever, it doesn't matter. He drives a 2-wheel drive 15-passenger van there every time, and he goes, it's just the lightweight in the back that it's able to go through all of that stuff and everything. So I jump in there, we're going. He's like, well, where is this bike, or something? Because I had basically ditched it in a tree, over there and stuff, and just hidden it, whatever, which you're out 50 miles from anywhere. No one's going to take it. So, anyways, again, I'm making this way too long, but we ended up putting the bike in the back of the van. He goes, we're not leaving it out there, or whatever and stuff. Like, there's no way, like, don't put this in the back of the van. It's going to get your van all muddy and whatever. He's like, don't worry about it. We use this thing for supply runs all the time and stuff. So anyways, we hucked this thing in the back, a 450-pound, now it's like a 600-pound T7 because of all the mud on it, and stuff. We put it in the back of the van. He takes me all the way back out to St. George. And then we go down to Mesquite. We meet Jess, and by that time it was, dark or whatever. And yeah, it was crazy. He took me all the way out. I could not believe it. And I'm like trying to, like, how do we thank you, and stuff. He's just come back. Anyway, so we've been back a couple times, and all that stuff. And he likes to give me a hard time about that. But that was a crazy. I mean, Corey Ellis was involved with that because you had him involved with, like, taking the Jeep out there. He still talks about that to this day, of saying there's no way I wanted to take my nice Jeep, in that clay all the way out there. Like, I was hoping you would get out of there, and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. I think I made a call, and I'm like, hey, I got a friend in trouble and I might need you. And he's like, all right. And then fortunately he didn't have to, but yeah, it's, people don't understand how that clay packs up, and it packs up to the point where nothing moves. Like, you can't, it locks up the chain, locks up the hub, locks up the front wheel. The brakes get gummed up to the point where nothing works, and it's so it's not always, the planning and strategizing and everything isn't always glorious, right?
It's not, man. We're still riding. There's no doubt about it, and all that good stuff. Man, oh man, yeah, that was one I will never forget. Of just trying to make it work, and I did not expect in the middle of October to wake up to the snow and everything at the top of that peak, trying to ride through that and stuff. Definitely tested some dirt bike skills, trying to get through that, and was just not going to happen at that point. And if you're ever riding in Utah and Bentonite Clay, like you're saying, man, careful, because that stuff will get you. There's no doubt about it.
So note that, Cole.
Yeah.
You're muted.
That's like a Baja story in Utah. How far am I willing to walk in my boots?
And
man,
that's something like for people who've never worn riding boots. Imagine walking 10 miles in a pair of ski boots or on casts on both feet. It's about
not
the
recommended.
Same. No. Holy cow, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, I should have worn my flip-flops, but it wasn't what it was. So.
This guy wears flip-flops everywhere.
Yeah. I had them with me. That was the tough part, is I had them with me. And I'm like, no, they're gonna get stuck in the mud, and I couldn't leave my boots there because I still had mud to ride, to walk back in. So I'm like,
right.
I'm just wearing my boots, or whatever. It is what it is. So
that's insane.
Whatever. It's one of those. Like, you don't want to leave your stuff, you feel weird. It's your stuff, so.
Right. It's bad to even park the bike by the tree,
Oh,
like you said, there's nobody around for 10, 15 miles, but you're like, but if one guy sees it, who knows? Yeah, or
I
more.
There was a broken down side by side out there, and I will never forget. There was an F-350 that was lifted with the trailer trying to retrieve this side by side, and he passed us. You could not tell what color that truck was. It was just mud everywhere.
Probably
Anyways,
Wow.
12,000 pound truck by that point.
crazy. And it freaking thing looked like it was brand new. And, and oh man. Anyways, yeah,
Dude,
crazy.
that's crazy. That was like an unbelievable. I I was genuinely like very concerned um when there
Thank you.
was like no check-in, when Jessica called me and was like, and she was really stressed out. And
Yeah.
wasn't she pregnant at the time?
Oh man.
Or
I
was that
mean,
before?
yeah, I think that was before, but it was
Uh
it
wow. It was
I'm
stressful for her, I can tell you that.
yeah.
Um
When I give her a
but
route, man, there's a plan in place, right? Of like
right.
I should be out of there in this many hours, right? And if you're not, don't hear me from, I think the deadline was noon, 11 or 12, and yeah, obviously 2 hours after that, she knows. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a friend up in Bend, Oregon, the hemp dog, Pat Hemperly. If you're listening, buddy, shout out. But he was famous for his uh, self single track expeditions all over. He would literally ride out of Bend and single track all the way to Eastern Oregon, Alvord Desert, through the Steens Mountains, down into Nevada, um, and back up. I think one time he did like 1,430-mile trip
Oh
and
man.
rode 220 on pavement.
Good for him, man.
And
That's
Yeah.
rad. Yeah.
I was I was his check-in back. That was way back, in the spot tracker. Um, the
Yep.
satellite tracker and spot would send me a email like every hour while he
Mhm.
was out there until he stopped for the night, and then it would send it. I can't remember, like every 3 hours or something, that he was okay. And then you get an alert at like 7 o'clock in the morning that he was moving. Um, so I'm glad you have a satellite system now because
Oh man. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it, man. Yeah, I don't think I would we carry what the Garmin InReach, we carry Zoleo, we carry all kinds of stuff nowadays, and stuff just to have, right, at the end of the day. But man, they're worth it. They're worth it. There is no doubt about it. So
now I wish I would have got the contact from that David guy that was head of what is it? Star Trek? No,
Oh, not
the
yeah, I know what you're saying. The Tesla internet, the Starlink.
oh,
Starlink.
Star, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, because that would be a great idea. You need to make a micro Starlink for these guys that go out solo, ride single track and stuff like that.
Put it on the top of your helmet or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
you would have yeah, that's a home run idea right there, like a mini something to be able to
yeah.
put on. Oh,
I don't know why they couldn't do it.
oh
I mean, they send the
man.
same booster to space 9 times without a problem and land it. So,
Right?
I mean, these guys obviously got a couple things figured out. So,
Yeah.
anyway, just a thought, food for thought. But yeah, holy smokes, this has been fun, but we're running long into your time, Casey. I am sorry for that, but I had to get that story out because it's a learning lesson, but it's also a good insight to not everything always goes as planned.
That's it, man. I'm glad you brought it up because I was not thinking of that one for this deal. So that just makes me smile, man, as always. But yeah, that's super cool. That was a
Well, I mean,
adventure. Yep.
yeah, for sure. And as we wrap up here, want to be sure and say thank you for all your years of not only friendship, but all your years of leadership in the industry and being an outstanding personality in the industry. Always smiling, always laughing, always having fun. I'm sure when you were walking back through the mud in your boots, you were probably laughing and smiling about something. So now you're truly an icon in the industry, and your attitude, just super positive attitude, flows through everybody that you're around, and we're grateful for it. And with that, what do you have for any parting statements, partners, shout outs, any of that?
No, thank you, man. Like that's very kind. And I mean, I would say the same about you, and just, friendship wise and all of that stuff. That's what means the most to all of us, right? At the end of the day, and being
Absolutely.
able to call you and just chat, there's been a lot of those throughout the years of all that stuff, and great adventures, obviously, and stuff. But man, yeah, I really appreciate all those times and everything. So yeah, and as wrap it up, man, thank you for having me on. As always, I know we've been trying to do this for a long time, so thank you for doing this. And yeah, and just the time. And yeah, I would say if shoot, man, since I'm doing a bunch of it right now, I mean, there's a lot of Blue Crew stuff going on in the future that people can come out. I think locally we're doing a Blue Crew event at Glen Helen in May, over the weekend of I think it's May 17th through the 19th, I want to say. If you own a Yamaha, come out and race with us. It's super cool. If you register for the Blue Crew program online, you can you'll get updated on all these and get some free swag and that kind of stuff. So that's super fun. And then if anybody wants to win a trip to Colorado with us in June, you guys are more than welcome to input your entry on there and stuff too. It's on Yamaha's official let's see, Instagram page, and then also it's on the Facebook groups, Yamaha RMAX Addicts and that kind of stuff. So anyways, yeah, it's really fun. We're trying to do more of that. So
Good deal.
Awesome.
yeah, come out and ride with us. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
What's the website for the Blue Crew registration? Is it
I think
on
it's
the
I want to say it's bluecrewofficial.com. But if you go to YamahaMotorsports.com, that's the main page. And then there is a Blue Crew tab on there and stuff that'll navigate you towards registration and the events that are going. There's training sessions. There's all kinds of stuff. If you just want to get involved with the brand and what we're doing and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, this year and in the future.
awesome. And then AmericanSandAssociation.org.
Yeah, AmericanSandAssociation.org. Yeah, like we're talking about memberships and all kinds of stuff, business sponsors. We got all that, and then we're just trying to get the word out on a lot of different things. Like I said, that we're doing. I mean, Moab's huge, and Oceano's huge, and always, Glamis is Glamis, but even Oregon Dunes had something come down recently that we're following very closely. Yeah,
I saw that.
yeah. It's we're everybody's doing our best, right? At this point, trying to protect the lands that we really care about, so.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you for doing that, for sure. That's a huge deal, and taking on the task on top of everything else you're doing. And probably an extra hero award, extra gold star for dealing with Disco Dave on a daily level. And Dave, I hope you're listening. So
We
he'll laugh.
appreciate each other, man. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
give him a good laugh, and man, we had a good conversation today, just like catching up, and it's just fun, man. We have a good team, like we said, and he's been an integral part of that team, and stuff. I'm moving it forward, so I hope he is. I'll send it to him for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Casey, thank you so much. Go give your incredibly successful wife an incredibly successful hug. And, thank you. I know it's been a challenge to get lined out, to get on here because of our schedules. And I thank you for jumping in tonight. I'm sure you probably missed the little one's bedtime, and that means an awful lot to us. With that, any parting statements?
Just thank you guys very much. I always appreciate it. And we always say, I think you say it too, but see you on the trail. Let's go ride, or get on the water. Go have some fun.
It's see you on the water soon now.
Yeah, right. Rock and roll,
Yes.
baby. Let's go.
All right. Casey, thank you so much. We will talk to you soon. Man, that was so much fun. he's such a great dude. He's
Oh
always
yeah.
smiling, always laughing, just an inspiration to be around. I really appreciate it. And, I meant to bring up the John Rawl thing where I know he brought it up a little bit, but I want to give a shout out to John Rawl for actually introducing Casey and Jess to begin with. So, John, if you're listening, well done.
Yeah.
So,
Matchmaker
yeah,
extraordinaire.
extraordinaire for sure. So, with that, um, we need to wrap up. Cole, what's your firepower round?
Man, firepower round. It's warming up, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Good for you out at the boating season, bad for us out in the desert. So this is the weird transitional time. Make the most of it.
Yeah, you got anything coming up real quick?
Yeah, maybe see you in Ventura in a couple weeks. How about that?
Sounds good to me,
I need a
man.
couple of things to fall into place, but where there's a will, there's a way, as us Vikings say. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of making way, you hook yourself up with Kicker Performance Audio, you'll make way. Everybody will get out of your way just to hear you drive by. All your 12-volt audio needs, Kicker Performance Audio, Kicker Marine Audio, Kicker Personal Audio. Find them on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook at Kicker, on the webs at kicker.com, and every other Tuesday night live on Kicker Unmasked Live on their YouTube channel and their Facebook. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear. Over 40 styles of frames, and I don't even know how many styles of lenses. Tommy and the gang have things just rocking and rolling out there, always coming out with new stuff. I see they just launched the new Jagger Bomb, and they look pretty rad. So we'll see. I'm going to try a pair on next week at Desert Storm.
even more styles. They just won't stop.
Yeah, they just keep popping them, man. And, check them out. Hit their website, bombereyewear.com. When you get to checkout on their shopping cart, after you've loaded in your reasonably priced, incredibly durable, unbelievably fantastic and cool shades, use the code MAddOG20, MAddOG20, and let them know Mad Dog sent you.
It's the best code.
Yes, absolutely. So proud. Of course, man, the Premix podcast for all your MC and announcer needs, or your photography needs on your desert race. Slide into his DMs on Instagram. That's the @ symbol ThePremixPodcast. The Premix Podcast. Cole will get you hooked up. Let him know what you need. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film for all your filmmaking, production, or still photo needs. Hit her up on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. If you got a website needs help, you got a website needs built, you got an Instagram or social media account needs built or maintained, or you just need to get your brand out in front of people and you want an influencer campaign set up, yell, "Hey, Keeks," or just look her up on the webs at heykeeks.com or on Instagram at heykeeksmarketing. Cole, do the speech.
Make sure to rate and review, subscribe on your favorite, your absolute favorite, your most fantastic streaming platform.
I love that so much. So smooth, so smooth. Shout outs, of course, to our great loyal listeners. Appreciate you all. You know who you are, and we are thankful. Be sure to share us out to your friends. Even if they're not motorsports people, they might find us funny. I do.
And even if they don't, they can find something to be mad at.
That's right. As for me, I am elbows deep heading into Super Cat Fest West at the beautiful Havasu Riviera Marina. Check them out online. It is an unbelievably great facility. Super Cat Fest and Super Cat Fest West, amazing fundraisers. Every penny they raise is going to local children's charities, and they do a great job. It's going to be an unbelievable event. They are presented to you by Kicker Marine Audio, and I will be hell-bent and hammered down on this the next few days. Got about half a day off and going straight into the 2024 Desert Storm presented by Kicker Marine Audio. So looking forward to it. Two totally different types of events, but it's going to be a good time. If you're out in Havasu for either one, find me at the Kicker booth. Stop and say hi. With that, God bless America. God bless our troops. God bless our first responders. Mad Dog out.
That's
Robbie,
how you do the podcast.